Hi, I'd like to do a video today about inflammation. It's a pretty important topic and everybody's talking about it. It's all over the internet and the term is widely used in the health industry. And we all know it's real. We all suffer from it in one way or another. So today I'd like to talk about two things: the true cause of inflammation and how to heal it. So let's start with the true cause. If it's not an injury, the true cause of inflammation is infection. Bacterial or viral, they both cause inflammation. And that's the true cause of the inflammation that is linked, in part, to all diseases, symptoms, and conditions. Now that we've discussed the true cause, I'd like to jump into how to heal it. But maybe before I do, one thing I'd like to share is that you can't really avoid bacteria or viruses. And I certainly don't want you to live in any fear because of this information either. Hopefully this is the kind of information that will empower you. But everywhere you go, everything you touch, every person you meet with, everything you eat can have some bacteria and or viruses on it. And so we pick them up everywhere we go. We pick them up when we go to restaurants, when we eat utensils at our friends' homes, when we share food with friends and family, or our children, or our grandparents. We breathe viruses and bacteria in. We get them on our hands. They're on packages and mail that's delivered to us. The point is they're everywhere. It's part of being a human being. There's no reason to live in fear. Only to be conscious and aware that it's a part of our experience. But we can do a lot of things in order to help ourselves. And that leads in perfectly into how to heal inflammation. I've mentioned in other videos 5 foods that make us sick. Those foods, which are eggs, dairy, gluten, soy, and corn, coupled with a high-fat, high-protein diet, which almost everybody has nowadays, is feeding the bacteria and the viruses. And so it's sustaining the infections. And this is why people don't heal. This is why people don't lose weight. This is why people have conditions and symptoms for extended periods of time. So, back to the healing part. The first thing, if you want to heal inflammation in your body, cut out the foods that are feeding the infections. Remove eggs, dairy, gluten, soy, and corn from your diet. If it's too much to do all at once, do it a little at a time. Cut out eggs first. Then slowly cut out gluten. If you love dairy, try to cut out that milk that you're putting in your coffee. Try to remove the butter from the foods when you cook. If you can do this little at a time, it might be easier for you to maintain this in the long run. And I'm not suggesting you have to cut these foods out forever. That's your choice. Frankly, how you eat is your choice. But what I am trying to say is that if you remove the foods that are feeding the bacteria and viruses that are causing the inflammation in your body, you will start to feel better. In fact, you'll feel a lot better. The high fat, high protein diet that almost everybody is on is not necessarily feeding the infections, but it's creating an environment for them to thrive in. So you really want to reduce the amount of fat you consume. You want to try to reduce the amount of protein you're consuming. And I know that sounds contradictory to everything you hear out in the health world. But the health world doesn't seem to be on the mark, does it? If it was right about everything, there wouldn't be more disease on planet Earth than ever before. So, this information can all be found somewhere, and I'm going to tell you where to find it in just a moment. But back to the healing part. So if you remove the 5 foods that are feeding the pathogens, the bacteria and viruses from your diet, that inflammation will drastically decrease. If you start to lower your fat consumption and your protein consumption, and if you are going to do fat and protein, try to do it in the afternoon, sometime in the PM hours, not in the morning. You don't ever want to consume fat or protein in the morning. And we'll get into that later on in more detail. But that's how you start to allow your body and your liver to cleanse, by not consuming fat or protein, any fats, even if they're healthy fat, in the morning hours. And doing things like drinking lots of water. You can put lemon in your water. Eating fruit. If you want to eat some vegetables, you can. But I recommend eating fruit in the morning. Again, and staying hydrated. Those are incredibly important if you really truly want to heal your inflammation. The last piece, which is absolutely critical, and I strongly recommend you consider, is doing a cleanse. Now, if you do a effective, safe cleanse, those cleanses will already have those foods removed from them because all of this information is already published. And the book where I have found all this information, it's actually a series of books that's changed my life and inspired me to make these videos, hoping that I could share this information with others. These books are censored on this platform, so I can't say the name or the author of the books. But what I can tell you is that there's 3 words in the title of my channel. If you remove the first word and you replace it with cleanse, the word cleanse, the title of the book I'm referring to has 3 words. And so again, cleanse, and then use the last 2 words of the name of my channel. That right there is the title of one of the greatest books ever published. I think you'll really enjoy the book. It's easy to read, and it's very much like an encyclopedia. You can go through it section by section. You can find what areas you're interested in, and you can skip to those areas. And finally, and most importantly, there is a list of dozens of cleanses. And these cleanses are the safest, most effective cleanses anywhere published in the health realm. This information has healed millions of people, and it's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about being a messenger of this information and for this information. One last note, just to make sure you found the right book. On the cover is a picture of a cut-up watermelon. Again, I hope this information is meaningful to you. I hope it helps you on your journey. I love you, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye.